Potential Republican presidential candidates are flocking to Iowa. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is touring the Hawkeye state alongside its governor. He has not yet made an official announcement about his presidential ambitions in 2024, but many see his nationwide book tour as a prelude to a presidential run.
We refused to let our state descend into some type of Faucian dystopia where people's livelihoods were destroyed and their freedoms were curtailed. No, we chose freedom over Fauciism, just like Iowa, and we were right and they were wrong.
CBS News chief election and campaign correspondent Robert Costa joins us now from Des Moines, Iowa. Bob, how is DeSantis pitching himself in Iowa?
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis arrived in Iowa today to talk about his record in Florida, but he also politically had some meetings on the agenda to meet at the Iowa State Capitol with key Republican lawmakers to try to introduce himself to some of the stakeholders in the Republican Party here who will make major decisions on who they will decide to endorse in the coming year. While he's known nationally, he's not as well known in Iowa in terms of the Republican leadership, so he made sure to spend a lot of time today with Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds as well, holding an event with her in Davenport, then later tonight here in Des Moines. We spoke with her as well. She said DeSantis has an open race here as well as any other candidate who's looking at 2024 in Iowa. Nothing to take for granted, but he will get a welcome reception, she believes, from many Republicans.
Bob, you spoke with Bob Vanderplaat, who is a very significant conservative voice in Iowa. Let's listen.
I think if the election were held today, President Trump would win. There's just too many unknowns right now. But I think those unknowns starting to become known, then I think you're going to see a real competition. And I think if Trump gets stalled here in Iowa, if he gets defeated here in Iowa, I think it's game on to a nomination. If he wins here in Iowa, I think it's going to be very, very hard to stop him moving forward.
Bob, based on your reporting, are Iowa Republicans open to DeSantis?
They are open to DeSantis. He got a pretty welcome reception in Davenport, Iowa earlier today. But this is going to be a crowded field. Former President Trump still has a lot of support in Iowa, and so do social conservatives like former Vice President Mike Pence, though some conservatives have grumbled about how he has splintered with Trump, at least in terms of January 6th and the Capitol attack and the certification of that election. And you see Nikki Haley, the former UN ambassador, a former member of the Trump administration. She had several events here in Iowa this week. CBS News covered several of them. And it's evident that she's pitching herself as someone who can appeal to traditional conservatives as well as conservative Republicans who have been aligned with former President Donald Trump. And they look at DeSantis, many of the Iowans we met, and they say this is someone who has made headlines, has been a fixture on some of the cable news programs some of them watch, and they want to hear more about what he has to say. But they really only know broad strokes about what he's doing in Florida. And so they're asking him questions and want to ask him questions about where he stands on issues like ethanol and renewable fuel.
So it's a very important moment for DeSantis to essentially introduce himself. At the same time, former President Trump is also coming to Iowa. What do you think his strategy looks like?
Former President Trump did not win the Iowa caucuses in 2016, came in a narrow second to Senator Ted Cruz, but he has a base of support here. And so much of the Trump strategy, I'm told by his advisors, is rallying his core support, reminding them about what he did as president, things they like, and attacking opponents from time to time. Once again, on social media, he's referred to the Florida governor as Ron DeSanctimonious, giving the Florida governor that nickname. And some of Trump's allies and aides have been saying DeSantis shouldn't get a free pass in Iowa, raising questions about DeSantis's positions on some fiscal policies. So you see already a political tension, at the least, between these two contenders, though one's in the race and one's thinking about it.
You also spoke with Iowa's Governor Kim Reynolds about the Republican field. Here's that exchange.
What's your view of where former President Trump fits right now inside your party?
Well, you know, I mean, I don't know if I need to have a view of it. I think Iowans are going to decide that. Again, this isn't the Kim Reynolds show or the Governor Reynolds show. It is Iowan show, and that's why we're so successful at the Iowa caucus, because Iowans weigh in, they pay attention, they ask questions, and our goal has never been to pick. I mean, our place has in the Iowa caucuses, our role has never been to really pick the president. It's really to help narrow the field. So they start.
Seems like a very careful answer. In addition, you've got some new reporting on DeSantis, apparently meeting with some key Republicans in that state.
He was meeting with Republicans at the state capitol this afternoon between his morning event in Davenport, his evening event here in Des Moines. Seeing the Florida governor, we spotted him. CBS News saw him walking through the state capitol here in Iowa, and he's building relationships. I've seen it for over a decade covering presidential politics. Senators, governors, presidential hopefuls, they come to Des Moines, they go to that Gold Dome state capitol, and they try to meet the Iowa legislators who they believe could help them form a web of relationships that ultimately could lift them in the caucuses and potentially toward the nomination.
Robert Costa, thank you for your reporting.
Thank you.